Welcome to That 80s Show, the show that likes to think of Thundercats, Brave Star, He-Man, Care Bears, My Little Pony, and those things all the time, Dori.
Okay, you got to cut back on the cocaine. I know it's a thing, but I'm beginning to get worried.
That cheap 80s coke.
Yeah.
I don't know drugs. I make lots of jokes about them.
You are the sweetest, most innocent person, actually.
I do. Do you think there must have been a difference in cocaine, 80s to now? It was definitely...
I don't know. Because I don't do it now.
Okay. We'll leave that one there. I did not expect starting a show talking about Care Bears to end up talking about cocaine. What if they did a show called Cocaine Care Bears?
I bet you that people smuggled cocaine in Care Bears.
Oh, they smuggle cocaine in everything.
In everything.
If it's going in your bum, it's going in a Care Bear.
That's our next t-shirt.
Oh my God. Oh, Dori, we come back to another week where we revisit the 1980s. I almost had a Corey Feldman story. I so tried to wedge it in there, but I've got a fantastic video that I'm putting up on that 80s Show SA Facebook page, the page where you can find everything we talk about in this show. You can also find the links that we talk about in the show in our show notes on your podcast app. Just scroll down past my hilarious writing, because I think I write pretty good show notes.
You do.
And then
I make a point of reading them every week.
And thank you for not grammatically correcting them.
I've let that go. I've had to let it go.
I try to get the AIs to fix them, but then they make them sound not like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's definitely been better. So is that the AI? It's been better.
I try, but then it's I know you got this thing, because obviously my background is writing for radio.
Yeah.
And the way you talk is not necessarily grammatically correct.
Yeah.
Or grammatically. Anyway.
For reading.
Anyway.
Does anyone even read our show notes? Is it
they should, though.
A wasted effort. They really should.
You know what the thing is?
So
since we're winning awards for obscure podcast things like cover art, maybe we should have a category, and I can make this happen, called Best Show Notes.
Yes.
And then we win that.
We will.
Because they're pretty funny. They're good. They tell you what's happening in the show if you don't listen. Dori. So obviously I mentioned that 80 Show SA on Facebook, something that a lot of people liked yesterday. There's long been rumors. It's long been wanting to be revisited because people like me are in positions of influence.
Right.
So we grew up with He-Man, Masters of the Universe. Loved the original show in the 80s.
Yes.
The original 23-minute long toy commercial.
Basically.
That's what He-Man was.
Yes.
Do you know that story? Because
you've mentioned it before.
They'd come
Very
up with
clever.
Come up with a toy line, and then the toy company said, well, nobody's going to buy these because they don't know the story. And the guy just in the pitch said, well, that's why we've developed a cartoon series for you. And they walked down and they said, have we? Fuck no. We got to develop a cartoon series. And it set the template, because then everyone started doing that, right?
Right.
So there was that. And then in the 90s came out a new He-Man. It was He-Man who was in space. It was a completely different He-Man. He-Man was wearing pants.
Yeah.
I don't want to see He-Man in pants.
Yeah.
Right? Then we had late in the 2000s, another He-Man. Pretty good. That was pretty good. Not the original. And then we had the more recent Netflix iterations by Kevin Smith. And they were really good.
I haven't watched them.
No. You wouldn't. It's not your thing, not your vibe. You wouldn't.
I do like Kevin Smith, though.
Listen, there's no Jay and Silent Bob in it. If that's what you're waiting for.
I was not expecting it.
It's quite weird, because Kevin Smith, even when he does non-Kevin Smithy movies that you expect to be Kevin Smithy, there's kind of he does it so well. Everything's done so well, but it's not I don't know, it's
there's usually a quirkiness that is recognizable of him.
And Ben Affleck.
Usually.
There's no Ben Affleck in this. But the one thing they've never touched, even though they've threatened it, is touching the He-Man live action movie.
Right.
So this came out in 1987. Frank Langella was Skeletor. And Dolph Lundgren was He-Man.
Of course. How could we forget?
No, we'll never forget.
Never
forget. And, at the time, it was pretty slated, because they went, firstly, it wasn't set in space. It wasn't set in Eternia. You had 2 scenes in Eternia, but most of it was set on Earth because of budget.
Right.
Like, we can't build these elaborate
I saw it on the
scenes.
big screen. I remember that. I do not remember a single thing about the movie,
Oh, no.
except for, of course, Dolph Lundgren.
Do you want me to tell? I'll tell you constantly.
Tell me the
I'll tell you
entire
everything. There were lots of weird things, right? There was no Orko. Remember
Okay,
Orko,
yes, I do
He-Man, the little
remember Orko.
floating guy?
Yeah.
He there wasn't Orko. They
Well,
just didn't have
probably
the
no
budget.
budget, huh? Yeah.
So they had a weird other little gnome.
Oh.
They didn't have swords of power. They had a musical key. And they had Courtney Cox.
Right.
Courtney Cox was in it. So we had Courtney Cox, Dolph Lundgren, and you know what? They've just left it alone for years.
Mm-hmm.
There was a botched remake a couple of years ago. Netflix were going to do it when they were in the hiss about making the He-Man movies, and then kind of like fell away. But by bit, it's being announced. There is a new He-Man live action coming next year, and it's going to be done by Amazon MGM. And, you know, like everybody, they're going to turn this into like a big cinematic universe.
Right.
You know, where every movie is just an ad and a trailer for the next movie.
Okay.
Give it to them, and it's Amazon. You know, they're going to do spin-offs. They're going to do the whole thing. But anyway, we'll go with it.
Cast?
So, bit by bit, they've been announcing the cast.
Right.
Let me give you some of the names. So, do you know Camila Mendes? She's in Riverdale. She's Veronica.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all you needed to say.
Yeah.
I don't know her real name.
Oh, no, she's playing Tila.
Okay.
Okay, He-Man's. I don't think they were in a relationship, He-Man and Tila.
I don't remember.
Anyway. Morena Baccarin. She's the sorceress. She plays the sorceress, the source of all power, the lady who wore like a falcon's. She had a falcon suit on her head and everything.
Where's she from?
She's in Deadpool. You know what shows?
I do.
She was also in Gotham.
I didn't watch Gotham. I do watch Deadpool.
Deadpool's
Wham.
Deadpool's girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deadpool's, she's Morena Baccarin. Yeah, I think she'll work. Good casting.
Mm-hmm.
Idris Elba, Man at Arms.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Alison Brie.
Oh, yeah.
We do like Alison Brie.
We do.
She's playing Evil Lynn.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. The cast is not a joke, eh? I'm going to tell you who's He-Man.
And Skeletor, if we know.
Nicholas Galitzine. Right? He's British. He's kind of been in a couple of things, but he's not. This could be his big breakout role. He's playing He-Man and Prince Adam. I'm going to give you a guess of Skeletor. Skeletor is being played by somebody who, for a long time, who transitioned from TV hunkiness to rock stardom. So he's in a big rock band, and he always makes very interesting movie choices. He's been nominated for an Oscar. I think he could even have won Best Supporting Actor Oscar. But he's not somebody that you go, that's a fantastic actor. So somebody who started out on TV, a teenage drama series.
Teenage drama series.
Then he did a actually really big movie with Brad Pitt. Was kind of his first movie role.
With Brad Pitt?
Then he fronted a rock band, right?
Okay.
And then he made a lot of questionable choices in the movies that he chose. But he got to a point where he's just so big, he can just write his own roles.
I have no idea.
He was in a movie with Matthew McConaughey. I think that's the one he won an Oscar for. Jared Leto is playing Skeletor.
You know, I was going to say Jared Leto.
Yeah.
But you know what threw me off? I didn't know that he was in a TV series first. What TV series?
My So-Called Life with Claire Danes.
Oh, I never watched
Here's
that.
Jordan Catalano.
I never
Jordan
watched it.
fucking Catalano.
Never knew that.
No,
Never
Dori.
knew that. But I was thinking, this sounds like it could be Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
But that's what threw me off.
Jordan Catalano. Do yourself
But
a
now
quick
they're going to take
Google.
Jared Leto's beautiful face and put makeup on it.
That's the thing.
To make him look like a skeleton.
But you see, he does that because remember when he was in Pulp Fiction, he was the pretty boy, but he was insisted that he wanted to get fucked because remember he got beaten up so badly they broke his face.
You mean Fight Club?
Fight Club, sorry.
You
Fight
said
Club.
Pulp Fiction, but
Sorry,
yes, Fight Club. Yes.
You remember? So that was one of his insistence. Then he was in Morbius, where he was like all thin.
Didn't see, but
bad.
he was in Dallas Buyers Club
Joker and Dallas Buyers Club
with Matthew
So
McConaughey.
he loves going these
He does like
transitions.
to do the extreme transitions.
because he's so beautiful.
Yeah,
So
he
it's
just he just bounces back to the beauty really easily.
Because it's just so easy. It's like when you silly putty when you used to squeeze and then it just pops up. You remember we had in the 80s?
Yeah.
It would pop back into a ball. So
It's funny that you mentioned that. There's a link to that coming up.
Okay. So he's Skeletor. Now remember, Frank Langella, you won't remember.
But I know who Frank Langella is.
He was Skeletor in the original one.
In real life, even.
And he just he subsequently said, I knew I was in the biggest load of shit movie, but you know what? Just going to lean into it because never in my life would I, because he thought no one would see it.
Yeah.
So he's just he was the most fun part of Masters of the, because Dolph
Skeletor
Lundgren
always was the most fun part of He-Man.
He is, because he's super. So I don't know. I like this cast. He-Man is always going to be divisive.
I'm interested in Alison Brie and Jared Leto.
I think that's going to be a great combination, the two of them. But that's not what we're talking about. What I want to talk about is there have been some set photos released, okay. Of Nicholas Galitzine. Did I just say it right? Yes, Nicholas Galitzine as...
I need to see who he is. Let me Google that quick. Oh, you're going to show me.
I'm going to show you that's him on set as Prince Adam. Right?
Ooh.
So...
He is familiar. What else has he done?
He's got the long... Listen, nothing that I could recognize. He's got the long blonde hair. He's got a pink shirt. They're doing the thing that the first He-Man got lambasted for in setting it on Earth. So as this story goes, is that a bit of a Superman story.
Yeah.
Prince Adam, sent from his planet, lands up on Earth, raised as a human being until he starts discovering his destiny, and then he goes back to Eternia.
Right.
But still, Dori, that's not what we're talking about.
Of course not.
Because the first photo that he releases, official release, is him, very close-up chest shot, holding the Sword of Power, the sword that unites. If they're united, you gain entry into Castle Grayskull.
Okay.
Now you can see he's in costume as He-Man.
Yes.
Holding the sword, he's got cufflinks, he's got the chest plate on. But I want to start a campaign on behalf of that 80 show, and I think we'll have a lot of support on that 80 show essay on Facebook. I don't care how good he is not my He-Man.
Oh.
Dolph Lundgren will forever be my He-Man, and you know why?
Because of his nipples?
Not my nipples. Look at that look at it. It's
I can't even see it.
It's like a smudge of a nipple.
I can't even see
Compared to Dolph Lundgren's,
Yeah. No, that is not a worthy nipple.
That's not a worthy nipple.
No,
maybe
unworthy nipples.
Yeah. So I don't feel that you can play a character who spends most of the time without a shirt on.
Pretty much all the time.
All the time. And you have such a pathetic little... I wouldn't even compare that to like a little milk dud nipple, like a little Reese's Pieces, because it's too teeny. If you go back and you just right now, and I don't have to go far, I just have to go open this folder on my laptop called Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. Look at those nipples, Dori. Those things are like sauces. They
artworks.
Look at them. They look like subcutaneous rock formations. You could probably
That's a very big word.
Yeah.
Subcutaneous
rock formations. You could use his nipples as a tuning fork. Just flick them and they go bing, and then you can tune your instruments to them.
There's going to be another episode where we talk about Dolph Lundgren's nipples for too long.
You know what? As a kind of a throwback, I'm going to post that song that I had AI write for me about Dolph Lundgren's nipples. But anyway, join the fight, join the campaign. Not my He-Man, not my nipples. Dolph Lundgren will forever be our He-Man. Nicholas Galitzine, maybe you will be He-Man for a new generation. Maybe somewhere out there is a boy born in the year 2006, and next year he will be 6 years old, and he'll be watching He-Man for the first time. And 2006, 2020. Never mind. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
He was born in 2020, a COVID baby.
Yeah.
And he goes, wow, this is my He-Man.
See, I'm looking at Nicholas Galitzine's list of stuff that I haven't seen any of these. Yeah, he's a no one.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but yeah.
Listen, they could be building the whole franchise around him. Who knows?
I'm all for opening up the industry, but
close up the nipples. Because what you got to imagine, if they really want to play fan service, Dolph Lundgren's got to be in there. He's got to do a cameo. What I'm saying, don't cameo him. Nipples, CGI nipples. So have Nicholas walk around with the little green screen or those little things that they do, walk around with those, and then afterwards CGI. You're going to have you got Amazon's budget. Superimpose Dolph Lundgren's nipples.
And then on the cast credits, it'll be
featuring
Nicholas Galitzine, featuring
nipples played by Dolph Lundgren.
Yes.
And they can actually be characters. They can actually like little Easter eggs. They can point to things like little nods to like things that like super fans are like. And then you just like got to watch his nipples. We could have a whole director's cut. And this is, I'm just brainstorming here.
Yes.
Director's cut of just all the nipples, just all of the nipple view. You know, you have the director's
Will we
commentary.
have an origin story
of the nipples?
Of the nipples.
Yeah. Aren't we?
Of how they became sentient.
All this time, is Dolph Lundgren actually just being controlled by two little aliens that sit in his nipples? Is this what we're talking about now?
This is what you're talking about.
Anyway, once again, Dolph Lundgren's nipples have totally derailed us. And major economies, they will.
I think we need to try get an interview with him.
He's in remission. Remember, he was battling cancer.
Yes.
And he's in remission. So, yeah.
I think we should get on it.
We should.
We really should.
But, you know, because he's older. So, you know, when you do like Zoom interviews with older people, they never have their camera facing up.
Yeah.
And they leave it chest height.
We're going to have to insist he is topless.
He goes, can you guys see me? Yeah. Perfect.
No.
Perfect.
We're going to have to insist that he's topless.
That's our rider.
Yes.
Yeah, can you have a reverse rider?
Yeah.
Yeah. Please send us the technical specs. Yeah. Shirts interfere with our broadband in Africa. We don't have Starlink. So all guests must be topless.
Yes.
You know, that's a thing. That could be a thing. Anyway, not our He-Man. So, Dori, I want to take you back to the very fancy sweet stores of the 80s. Because I don't remember them selling this in the major supermarkets. You would reach out and you would grab all the exotic colas from overseas. Right?
Okay.
And there was vanilla Coke, which tasted like terrible.
Awful.
Vanilla, anything vanilla other than ice cream tastes like shit.
Generally, yeah.
Right?
It's true. Even like vanilla coffee things.
Yeah,
not great.
It tastes horrible. Just vanilla ice cream, good.
Yeah.
In its original form, dug up from a subcutaneous rock formation. But anything more than that, shit. So vanilla Coke sucked.
Yeah, it did.
But the one thing people used to go quite gaga over was cherry Coke.
Oh, love it.
Really?
Love it. You know, once a year on my birthday, I treat myself and I buy myself a cherry Coke.
Cherry cola. Wow, I did not know that. So you're a fan.
I am.
Because obviously we didn't get that here in South Africa.
No, it wasn't a thing. I tasted cherry Coke for the first time when I went overseas for the first time.
Yeah.
And then I discovered that they sell it at Spa.
Now, I've been confused. So a story came back is that there's a bit of news that Coca-Cola are bringing back diet cherry Coke flavor. But I'm kind of like, I don't know if it's the diet part, but I'm kind of like, you've always been able to get cherry cola for a very, very long time.
Yeah, you can get cherry Coke at like most places.
Yeah.
It's a bit more expensive, which is why I treat myself once a year. But diet anything is disgusting.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's just the diet cherry cola or whatever.
Possibly.
But it got me thinking about all the other discontinued drinkies we used to have at the tuck shop of our lives in the 80s.
Pine nut.
So I've put together a list of some, and I want you to add. We're obviously going to start. I mean, there's only one place to start. Actually, you still get it in the rest of the world. Discontinued in South Africa. I know this is a big favorite. Mellow Yellow.
Yeah, that used to be good.
Mellow Yellow was very good. Citrusy. Such a different flavor. Did some digging into it. Mellow Yellow was...
I can still hear the song from the ad.
Yeah. And they used it... it was actually named after that 60s song. They call it Mellow Yellow.
Yeah.
They just changed the spelling. But you know why it got banned in South Africa? Why it just got discontinued?
Nope.
Because it's still around the world. Australia, you can still get it. In the 80s, obviously, you remember the police vans.
Yeah.
What color were they?
The normal ones?
The police vans, yeah. They were yellow.
Yeah.
Remember, they were yellow.
Some of them, yeah.
Most of them were yellow.
Yes,
especially the ones that did the fucking apartheid work, right? So people started calling police vans mellow yellows. The mellow yellow were kind of like, the cops are like doing some very bad things here.
Yeah. We do not want to be associated.
We do not want to be associated with this. So the brand actually pulled out the country. They said, no more licensing, we're out.
Huh. I never knew that.
That's why they pulled it out. Because I was like, people loved mellow yellow. It was so popular.
It was.
Never came back. Another thing still around, came out in the 70s, but I remember this being so huge in the 80s, Iron Brew.
Oh,
now,
they ruined it.
Speaking of vanilla, you see, it is ruined. So why have they ruined it for you?
Well, all the cold drinks have been ruined
exactly
by putting the sweeteners in.
I know.
All of them. Iron Brew used to be great.
Fuck you, sugar tax.
Mountain Dew used to be great. Now it's disgusting.
I know, they all taste terrible.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, is it because of my taste buds? And
No, cream soda. All the things that I used to drink as a child taste like shit now.
I remember Iron Brew. Kids loved that at the tuck shop. Loved it.
Was that a vanilla thing?
It's rosy vanilla.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
like root beer, but I suppose root beer is vanilla. That's what it is.
Well, that's what Iron Brew is.
Right.
Did you ever have the Iron Brew that's in Scotland?
No.
I don't know if it's still true, but I know for a very long time, Scotland was the only country where Coca-Cola wasn't the number one sold soft drink. It was Iron Brew.
Is it because when you say Iron Brew, you sound like you're speaking Scottish?
They just love it. I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to leave that alone. Mid-year might still be in the country. He might come hit me with his guitar. So I know that was a fact for a very long time. You know, Coca-Cola aren't taking that lying down. They probably sorted it out, right?
Yeah.
Another one that I found was, do you ever remember a soft drink called Groovy?
No.
Now, here's an interesting story. Do you ever hear people call a can of anything a Groovy?
No.
Like, you know, like a plastic bag is called, in South Africa, it's called a Checkers, no matter where you get it from.
Yeah, I know that. Never heard the Groovy thing.
A can of soft drink is called a Groovy. Now, it comes from, in obviously, you know, sanctions, countries weren't sure if they wanted to be in South Africa or not. They were 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And a local company called Groovy started making their drinks and were the number one kind of soft drink in the country. So they had cola, ginger beer, orange, a lemonade, grape, passion fruit.
How do I not remember this at all?
It was mainly 60s and 70s though. And they kind of started disappearing in the 80s. And they were like kind of the preeminent soft drink in the country. And hence took the name Groovy. And Coca-Cola were just like, no, okay, listen, we're going to kill you.
Yeah.
Because it was actually Coca-Cola weren't even the biggest. Schweppes were the biggest.
Right.
And
that makes sense.
Groovy were competing against Schweppes, and then Coca-Cola were just like, if we can't beat you, we'll buy you. And that's what happened. That's why Groovy disappeared. Fun fact, but I want to get into the one thing, again, going back to being kids. You mentioned just now Fanta, right?
Yeah.
And now I see a lot of Fanta flavors.
Oh, so many.
Right? Almost too many.
I think so.
But I remember when they first started bringing Fanta flavors in the 80s, because we only had orange, and as a treat, we had grape.
Yes.
But then they'd go through series of they had pineapple, Fanta apple. Remember those?
Yeah, I think you still get it.
You get it now, but then in the 80s it came and then it stopped.
Yeah,
and then
limited edition, yeah.
We also have a very different tasting Fanta in South Africa compared to the rest of the world.
Apparently.
Yeah, Fanta anywhere else, it doesn't, it's orange, it's very orangey. It tastes like orange juice. There was a stage in the 80s, I'm going to put this photo up on that 80 Show SA Facebook page, where they did a collab with Disney, and you could collect the cans with Disney characters on it.
That looks familiar.
Do you remember that?
It does look familiar.
Each can had like your main Disney.
There's
Mickey
Pluto,
and Minnie are one, Donald,
Mouse, Minnie Mouse,
Goofy wasn't one.
Daisy Duck.
And you had six, collect them all.
Scrooge McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck is there.
Yeah, Goofy.
When I pop this up, you're going to get all the feels. I think, listen, it wasn't the mania of the yo-yos.
Yeah.
Okay, that was mania.
That was something.
But this was also, it was quite a thing. Quite a thing. You got to collect the Disney Fanta flavors. Get in all your feels. I feel 80s was kind of the heyday of using beverage holders to their maximum. You'd either collect cans with things on them.
Yeah.
So like during a World Cup or something, everyone would have a can.
Yeah.
There was the ring pulls. We don't have a ring pull.
Oh my God.
Remember,
yeah.
you could collect the ring pulls or something.
I remember that, yeah.
There was like a code, to be a code, and then you got to send that code.
And then the plastic thing under the lids.
The underliners.
Yes.
That was a huge thing.
Yeah, those had things on.
And you'd like pull them off, and the smell of the Coke one, and sometimes you just chew them, and your mother, why the fuck are you chewing that? Oh, sorry, I couldn't enter. Oh,
hey, that was your experience, yes?
You see, I feel we're not using our beverage. Now, scan the code. Scan the QR code. Text the number on the label. Use bottles.
It is really only Coca-Cola during World Cups.
I don't even think they do it anymore.
No, they did it for the last one.
Oh, but then they're not like they used to do it.
It's just the name of the country.
Yeah, it just puts the name. It's like, no, you used to have flags, stories, players. It was a whole thing. Just
remember the names when you could get a can of Coke with your name, which of course I couldn't because I have an unusual name.
Yeah.
But then remember, Coke came to our work,
yes.
and I got one. I've still got it.
So do I. I've still got this, and
because you wouldn't have found one with your name in the shop either.
I don't think I did find
maybe Paul.
Yeah,
but not Paulo.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and I are those, like, sometimes people go, like, when you used to go, I remember first as the 80s, used to go to, like, your key ring.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, I'm at the Comedies.
At Comedies.
No,
they never had mine
Just
either.
don't get a chip.
Never.
Dori, before we get into movies, I found a fantastic article. I love lists, doing lists on this time of the show of 12 shameless comedies that just don't care if you're offended. Oh, yeah, because I think we're offending people again now with Trump and Elon Musk.
Oh, boy.
We're back to that, right?
Well, they're trying, yes.
So now we're back to offending people. So maybe comedies are going to get offensive again. And the 80s was obviously the heyday of this. I'm going to go through a list here of comedies that didn't give a shit about offending you.
I'm going to guess that Married with Children is on there.
These are movies.
Oh.
These are movies mostly.
Okay.
So we start off with Porky's.
Ooh.
And we watched Porky's very young.
Speak for yourself.
No, come on.
But I suppose, yes.
It came out in 1981. So obviously I wasn't 1 year. I probably was. It was probably in the background. But I would have watched Porky's at like 6 or 7, 8 years old.
Really?
You would have. This is just the way it was in the 80s.
Yo.
There was just, and what did you really see? Boobs. This one I find interesting, Trading Places. But if you actually think about when they listed, at one point Dan Aykroyd disguises himself as a Jamaican. Which is not great.
Oh, not allowed.
Not great. There is a part where a gorilla does a sex to a person, forces himself, and then of course Eddie Murphy pretends that he's a cripple.
Yeah.
So
I can see how that wouldn't fly now.
Didn't care. Here's one in your wheelhouse, Better Off Dead.
Oh.
Yeah. Which...
Oh, because it like glamorizes suicide, maybe?
Exactly, because he spends the whole movie trying, as they say delicately here, he repeatedly tries to remove himself from this earth after he's dumped by his girlfriend. And that plot just wouldn't fly today. And
it was such a funny movie.
It is. There's also, remember the Asian characters?
Oh, yes.
Yes. So, we're not doing that there. Steve Martin, the man with two brains.
What's offensive about that?
So very misogynistic because he plays a neurosurgeon who falls in love with Kathleen Turner and then gets to resent her because she won't sleep with him. And then he falls in love with Sissy Spacek, Brain, voiced by Sissy Spacek.
Yeah.
And then needs to put her brain
in.
Exactly. So basically, he just wants to have sex with Kathleen Turner.
Yes, and doesn't care about... Well, actually he does, because, he wants the person, he just wants the person in a different body, which wouldn't fly, I understand, but, he still likes the person.
He still likes the person more than the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very similar to All of Me, the movie I did with Steve Martin.
Yes.
Steve Martin. Yes, it is Steve Martin.
I don't know if you saw, it was the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary.
I saw that it was, but I didn't see anything that they did.
I watched quite a lot of it, but it's quite funny because I pretty much brought everyone back but Chevy Chase.
Oh, wow.
Everyone that's alive came back. Steve Martin, not aged. He looks exactly the same.
He was born grey.
He's just have you ever seen Steve Martin with dark hair?
No.
It is the weirdest thing. There was a documentary of his on Apple TV. And he's got black hair. It is, but
check that out.
But for 3 days.
Yeah.
And then it just went grey.
Yeah.
He has another movie in your wheelhouse, Heathers.
But Heathers is just a dark comedy.
I suppose it is.
What's the problem? That they're killing people?
Christian Slater as a charismatic teen lunatic.
He is a little bit handsy
who
and
starts
forceful.
offing popular kids and staging things to make it look like they did it to themselves, enlisting nefarious props like mineral water to make the crime scenes more convincing. Now, I suppose...
I still think it's just not a horror, a dark comedy.
I think just because obviously since then, I mean, school shootings in America is like not a joke.
Yeah.
And I actually read is that like for years they were trying to get like a TV show of the Heathers off the ground, but they just like
they did do something.
Just can't. Yeah, it just doesn't work in this environment. Coming to America.
Okay.
Very offensive. So funny, but
I mean, we had this discussion.
But you know what? You know what the thing is. Yes, it's very offensive, but I mean, Eddie Murphy just plays. It's the same as Eddie Murphy in The Clumps. Because what they're saying is offensive. He plays like all these characters and all these stereotypes.
I know.
But it's funny though.
It's very funny.
I don't think he comes out of any of those you actually like. I mean, he just creates such silly characters that you're laughing at.
Yeah.
Airplane, the funniest movie ever made.
Yes. I'm trying to think of specific parts that would be offensive. I mean, I know it's silly. I imagine it was quite sexist.
There's 7,000 jokes in there.
Yeah.
You're gonna offend everybody at some point. So, and then Airplane 2, of course. Got to chuck it all in there. Spoof comedies, here's another one, Top Secret, with Val Kilmer.
So funny though.
But it really was so funny. If you are easily
chocolate mousse.
You see, there we go. Add that 80 show to the list. Another one, you can't have so many spoofs in here because they got Naked Gun in here as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a spoof. Come on.
That's the point. They're supposed to offend you.
Yeah.
16 Candles.
For sure.
Okay, so we got Long Duck Dong, okay, which is not great. We got...
The panties thing.
Isn't the guy after Molly Ringwald way older than her?
Maybe.
And there's also somebody's girlfriend's unconscious and he lets somebody else fill in for him.
Trying to remember.
Jake Ryan, who's presented as the dream guy, passes off his unconscious girlfriend to another guy, Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
And then tells him, have fun. The next day, Caroline and Ted conclude that they've had sex. He asks if she enjoyed herself, and she says, I have this weird feeling I did. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, also, I imagine for very similar reasons. And to finish off the list is Spaceballs.
Why?
I don't know, actually. There's no...
I remember Spaceballs being hilarious, but I can't think of specific
and very
parts
family-friendly. I suppose very offensive to George Lucas.
Maybe.
Yeah, and his merchandise, his empire. Dori, coming up into the movie segment of the show, of which you were late for today because a rabbit hole was dug, entered, and explored.
I did not expect to find what I found when I decided to do this show. This and the fact that it links to something from last week's show is like a beautiful little bonus.
And silly putty.
That is a big clue. Let me start by saying, remember how last week we said that David Hasselhoff has crabs?
Yes, scientifically. Yeah.
Scientifically speaking. He also has penguins.
Okay, yes, all right.
Have you ever watched a children's animated show? It's clay animation, stop motion clay animation, called Pingu.
Love Pingu.
You gotta love Pingu, right? Who doesn't love Pingu? Pingu is brilliant.
The thing with Pingu is that like it's really funny as a kid, but then people have kind of taken a lot of the weird things Pingu does and related to being an adult. Like, have you ever seen the one with Pingu being the perfect example of your night out?
No.
And it's just a whole bunch of scenes cut together. It's really funny, but Pingu is phenomenal.
So I thought Pingu was a new thing.
No. Pingu is super old.
Yeah, it started in the 80s.
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Okay.
I honestly thought it was a relative, because the animation is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, there was amazing animation in the 80s.
Yeah.
Morph, for example.
Yes. What is the one with the line?
I'm getting to that,
okay,
because there is a link.
Quite a rabbit hole that's been explored.
This is all the rabbit hole I was in this morning. The line, La Linea.
Yes.
La Linea, you'll remember. It's it looks like a kind of a chalk line, becomes a guy,
yes.
He does things.
Always angry.
Very angry. Yeah. You know that voice.
Yes.
Think about the early episodes of Pingu. Same voice.
Yeah, okay. I can get it, yeah.
Same guy.
Right.
Same guy who made La Linea also did all the voices for Pingu.
Wow, because both of those, I think Pingu's Spanish.
Yes.
And as you say,
well,
the
it
Linea
actually came from Switzerland, but
Okay.
there were Spanish people involved. And the
Right.
guy is Spanish.
Okay.
His name escapes me. I
Yeah.
could look it up. But he initially did the La Linea, and then he initially did all the characters of Pingu for the first few seasons. And then as it got more popular, they kind of got a few other people involved. The thing with Pingu, as you know, but if you don't know, if you've never seen it, they don't speak a specific language. In fact, they call it Pinguese or Penguinese,
Yes.
they call it. So it's like a made-up language, which made it a global hit because you didn't have to be able to understand the language to watch it.
You just had to know that this penguin is coming down from a cocaine high and he's fucking angry with everybody.
But also, I mean, it was... So it's an anthropomorph...
No one can say that word.
Anthropomorphized penguin.
You know
as
what? Once you sign a petition called not our He-Man, not our nipples, I think we got to sign a petition to get rid of that word.
Get rid of anthropomorphic.
Because nobody can
They've
say
got
it.
anthropomorphic.
Really?
Pingu is anthropomorphic in that it takes an animal
3 times in a row.
and gives it human qualities.
Yes.
Let me give you a little bit of history. When Pingu was first created, it was created by a woman named Erica something, some European surname.
Right.
Swiss woman. Because she met with this guy who had a concept that he wanted to do this claymation show of seals.
Okay.
And they got together and he showed her, he had made all these little plasticine. This is where the putty comes in. Plasticine models of seals. And she said, I like the idea, but I think it needs to be something cuter than a seal. Why not a penguin? And also let's make the penguin act like a human.
Yeah.
So it was all her idea to make it a penguin and an anthropomorphized penguin.
The way Pingu walks fucking kills me. Anyways.
Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And the fact that he goes and sits on a toilet.
Yeah.
And pulls the chain of the toilet. And that they eat from plates. And
it makes a ping poo.
Anyway, Pingu's just amazing. But in this rabbit hole that I went down, apart from the whole La Linea link,
Right.
which is an extra 80s link, I've got the best 80s link.
Oh, yes. And once
Have you opened that link that I've sent you?
I've got it here. I don't know what to do with it. I'm reading the title. Can I say the title?
Say the title.
It
Because when
says-
I saw it, I had so much joy in my heart.
Pingu, the Pingu dance. Now, the Pingu dance, he does do it on, so I remember it.
Yeah.
With David Hasselhoff's vocals.
Right.
Ooh,
So there is the Pingu theme song.
yes.
At some point, a version was made with David Hasselhoff singing over it. Someone has now put that on YouTube,
Oh.
and there is a David Hasselhoff version of the Pingu dance.
Okay, everybody, this is the Pingu prance. Everybody up to do the Pingu dance. My name is Pingu, come on, dance to the beat. It's easy if you try, just watch my feet. Let's all be happy and have some fun. Let's count to 10 and start with 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Hold on. Is that David Hasselhoff rapping?
It is indeed.
Oh my God. I really want to play more.
Now you know I was so excited when I
What
found
in
this.
the actual fuck? And listen, I stopped at the point where there's like a little claymation. Oh, it's an egg. Do not look like an egg.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, wow. Okay, Dori, no. So listen, if you're going, fuck, I want to hear David Hasselhoff.
We're going to put
rap.
it on the Facebook page.
The
We'll put
Facebook
it-
page is in the show notes as well, the clip that Dori just sent me. That's long. It's about 3 minutes long.
Oh, it's a proper song. Proper.
You know, I've seen, in my life, I've seen David Hasselhoff end the Cold War. I've seen him stop communism, right? I've seen him be a night rider. I've seen him be a lifeguard. I've seen him be a hippo. I've seen him be a crab. I've never in my fucking life thought that David Hasselhoff would rap. I mean,
To a penguin song.
when we've seen him in SpongeBob.
Yeah.
We have so much to
There's
thank
a lot
the
of
Hoff.
marine stuff going on with him, actually, now that you mention it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ocean.
Does he think he's
things.
Aquaman? You know?
Should be like Knight Rider, but with a boat or a submarine.
And now you got me wondering, how many times did Knight Rider go underwater?
Mm.
You know, how many times did he ride it? There's something there. But the Hoff rapping, you know, whenever, like, you go, when in doubt, break the glass called the Hoff. Because it's just whenever we're short on a show, like, what do we add in? What's the Hoff up to? He's always up to something.
Yep. I'm so glad you didn't know about this because it's not new.
Fuck, that's so great. That is so great. I'm so happy about that. So we start off talking about animals with penguins.
Yes.
And we end off with animals something penguins and a David Hasselhoff rap song.
Exactly.
Thank you, Dori.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. That is indeed a fantastic penguin hole we went down. Love Pingu.
By the way, all those older episodes are on YouTube. So probably some of the newer ones as well, but who cares?
Yeah.
So those original ones and you can hear, I immediately recognized the La Linea guy's voice. So when I went to go digging, it made sense to me that it was the same guy because I was like, no, I know that voice.
That is such a crazy fun fact when it is. I mean, now that you think about it, they're exactly the same.
Yep.
We should check in on La Linea next week, maybe. See what happened with that and Morph. Maybe we should do that.
Best, man.
Who do you think would win in a fight? That's what we'll talk about next week.
Okay.
Come back. Who would win in a fight between the two of them? So, Dori, I've got a movie. I know I said to you I'm going to do a movie about a cyborg, someone with a cyborg arm.
You mentioned
I did, but I found something even better.
Okay.
My movie stars, it's directed by a man called Rick King, who wrote Point Break.
Okay.
He didn't direct it. Now, Point Break was ridiculous. It was about surfing bank robbers who infiltrated the FBI. Hey?
Yeah, it was
Keanu Reeves was in it.
Of course, I was only looking at Patrick Swayze. I wasn't paying attention to the plot.
Yeah, I know. Well, so most people were. But, I mean, it was a good movie.
Most people were looking at Keanu Reeves, not me. I was looking at Patrick.
What a silly thing to make a movie about. He directed this, and he didn't direct Point Break. He wrote it, but he directed my movie this week. My movie this week stars probably one of the biggest names in the world. The biggest names in the world. Like even
not Jared Leto.
Huge. A name I will say that nobody will go, I don't know who that is. You don't have to have extensive knowledge, but that's how big a star this is. Because you always go, like we do a movie going, what were they thinking?
Yeah.
And this movie is it. What were they thinking?
Okay.
This was definitely not done for money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Knowing this person was definitely done for money, but not because they lacked money. They just wanted more money.
Okay. Is it Donald Trump?
He was in a couple of things.
Yeah.
Did you see this week the KGB said that he was a spy? He used to be a spy for them.
No.
There was some bullshit. I don't know. Okay. This is a sports movie, right?
Okay.
One of the sports that they no matter, Hollywood just cannot get right because the nature of what makes it interesting isn't very cinematic, even though it's such a thing to watch. But you get great basketball movies that capture the action, great football, hockey. They've never made a great football movie, soccer movie.
Soccer.
Oh,
okay. I thought you were going to say baseball.
Yeah. Baseball you can get right because it's pitches, hits, catches.
Yeah.
Soccer they just cannot get right because just the mechanics of it just don't look. They've never made a great soccer movie, right?
Yeah,
that looks authentic.
Yeah,
they just never have. Never. I watched all of them. This one does not defy that in the least.
Right.
It really sets a template for this is how shit soccer movies are. So I'm going to start off by the big name, the biggest name. You would know him even if you don't know what he does. This movie stars Pelé.
Wow.
They are huge.
Okay.
Not playing himself, but playing a guy who's basically Pelé, a player by the name of Santos.
Okay.
But he's Pelé.
Also one word.
Santos, yeah.
Yeah.
Santos is also part of Pelé's name. Now, Pelé had done Escape to Victory a couple of years before with Sylvester Stallone. So this was his second movie, but the first one where he was around him. The movie's called Hotshot.
Okay.
Very difficult to find because everything will take you to Hotshots.
Yes.
I'll be happy to know it is on Plex, it is on YouTube. So the main protagonist of this movie is a guy called Jimmy he's heir to a shipping fortune. His dad's got a Greek shipping company, live in America, live in New York, but his dream is to be a soccer player, okay? The greatest soccer player ever. His dad wants him to go to college to inherit the business.
Right.
He leaves the house in his Jaguar, pretending he's going to college. He pulls in at the gas station, swaps his car out to a cheaper one, and goes to soccer, right? Goes to soccer. Now, he's somehow been good enough to get himself into the squad of a professional team.
Okay.
The New York City Rockers, right? So he plays for them, but he can't get into the first team. Him and his best friend, like young squad players. His friend's played by Billy Warlock. Billy Warlock has been on Baywatch, Days of Our Lives, Young and the Restless, Saint Elsewhere. When you see him in this movie, he's the only person that can act. Nobody else can act. And I think it's before he had done all of that, right?
I'm looking it up.
And it's very obvious when he is on that he's the only person that's got like any fucking acting credentials. So Jimmy wants to make the team. He is never getting put in the team. And then his friend, played by Billy Warlock, gets in the team. And now he's just so jealous. He fights with the coach. He's rude to the older teammates. He's got a huge problem with an Egyptian teammate, saying very derogatory, racist things to his Egyptian teammate, which
some things don't change.
Never change. And he gets to a point where he goes, you know what, fuck it. I'm telling everyone I'm rich.
Yeah. Why not?
It makes no sense why he does this.
Well, why did he hide it in the first place?
Nobody goes to the press. He doesn't tell his teammates. He does an interview. He tells everyone how rich he is. Okay. And now he's in a crisis meeting with the owner of the club and the coach and everyone. They're going, why did you do this? Why didn't you tell us? We've got to control the narrative, whatever. The point is, Jimmy's just a dick. Jimmy is always a dick. He's a dick to his parents. He's a dick to his coach. He's a dick to his teammates, right? So eventually he gets banned for 2 months. Coach says, you're done. Like, fuck you. It's over, you're out. Because he confronts the coach after his teammate, played by Billy Warlock, gets paralyzed for being elbowed in the neck. Okay, so they play a game.
Oh my God, that escalated quickly.
Exactly. Because you see him getting elbowed in the neck and like, then he's paralyzed. So he now goes and fights the coach. And his friends just found out he's paralyzed and had a major operation. And he confronts the coach to say, you got to put me in the team because he's out. The coach says, you're so selfish. You're such a dick. You're suspended. When you sort yourself out, come back and talk to me. So then he takes this opportunity to go seek out Santos in Brazil, played by Pelé. Now, Santos has decided that after his glittering soccer career, which is definitely Pelé's career, win World Cups, score thousands of goals, he's a recluse. He lives deep in the mountains in Brazil, doesn't want to talk about soccer, no acknowledgement of his previous career. Very easy to find by Jimmy. Jimmy finds Santos and he says, I want to be the greatest soccer player and you're going to teach me. Now, the thing is, one of the problems you have in a movie, why I think soccer movies are so hard to do, is because you don't have the context of American actors playing soccer. They wouldn't have grown up doing it.
Yeah.
So you either have actors who can't play soccer or soccer players who can't act. In the case of Jimmy, you have someone who can do neither. Santos says to him, this is how the conversation goes. Jimmy walks to Santos. I want you to teach me soccer. Santos says, I'm out of soccer. I'm sorry. Jimmy looks sad. Then Santos says, I come here for rest. Jimmy says, you're the greatest soccer player that ever lived. Santos says, I'm sorry. Somber music plays. But then he eventually agrees. He says, okay, you need discipline in your life. I pick up you have discipline. You have no discipline.
Yeah.
You need to help me on my farm. Which is not so much a farm, is more like...
Is he karate kidding him?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Listen, Santos is... If this movie was played for laughs, everything on his farm that he's now dedicated his life, he just was a farm, is fucking dead. Everything is dead. They didn't even go through the effort of making sure the stuff looks thriving.
Oh God, you didn't mention that this movie has Mario Van Peebles in it.
Dori, you fucking ruined it. I was getting there. Right?
Okay, sorry. I'll put the phone away.
I was getting there.
I'm putting the IMDb away.
Put it away. Santos is obviously very shit at what he does, but he's very caring about it. So he karate kids Jimmy. He takes him under, and then eventually it's a lot of them talking. The thing is, people say, when you watch a movie like this, you watch it because you want to see Pelé play soccer and the guy playing Jimmy act. Instead, you get Pelé acting and the guy playing Jimmy's playing soccer. So it's like the whole thing's fucked, okay? And so there's a whole Karate Kid thing. They even have a montage on the beach.
Of course.
And then there's the part where Jimmy, who now is good enough to be in a professional soccer team in America, doesn't know what a bicycle kick is. Now, Dori, you know what a bicycle kick is at least.
I don't think I do.
It's like when you kick the ball, like jump in the air and you kick the ball backwards, like you're riding a bicycle in the air.
Okay.
It's always spectacular. The Americans love it. It's probably one of the hardest things to do. But if you're somebody who, Jimmy is probably at the age of, like he says, he was supposed to go to first year of college. So he's 19. He's obviously been playing soccer long enough to get into the team. He's obviously tried a bicycle kick before. He loves Santos, okay? But when he sees Santos doing it, he's like, what the fuck is this thing?
Yeah.
So now, like crane kick, like Mr. Miyagi teaches Daniel-san the crane kick.
Yeah.
He's teaching him the bicycle kick because it's going to be useful later.
Of course it will.
Right. So now Jimmy he's reformed. He's a better person. Santos has taught him. There's something that really bothers me besides the fact that Jimmy doesn't know the fucking first thing about soccer, doesn't know how to bicycle kick. He has posters up in his wall that say Pelé. Right?
Okay.
Pelé exists in this universe. Is it Santos? Like, hold the Santos.
So
and
is
Pelé.
there never a point where he goes, geez, you look exactly like Pelé?
That's what at one point
Like,
I was
is it
watching this
supposed
movie
to
and I
be-
went, if you had to dub this movie over with like ridiculous commentary and ridiculous dialogue, it'd be so
Like if you went to
fucking
Mystery
funny.
Science Theatre.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I was like, no, fuck, because Pelé exists in this world.
So funny.
Fuck, anyway, it is just one of those weird oddities. So now he goes back to America and it's his 2 months and the coach says, okay, I'm ready to give you another chance. And they were losing all their games and now Jimmy comes back and now they're winning all the games and they get to the championship final game, right? Here comes the second sub-story because now when Jimmy gets back, he notices that the club isn't treating his friend well. Well, actually, no. He goes to the club president and says to him, my friend, I think the club should treat him better. He goes, well, look, he's got a 5-year contract. We'll pay out his contract.
Yeah.
And we've given him a box in the stadium and we'll always help him out. That's not good enough. Wow. Okay, what more could you want, right?
Yeah.
He never says what more he wants for his friend. He just says the club should treat him better. Where they've said, we're paying out his contract. Like, we're looking after him. They even said we made developments to his house.
Wasn't there even some small print to like get them out of having to do that probably?
That's the first thing I thought.
But surely they wouldn't have actually had to do that.
And Jimmy tries to play off the guy who owns the club as the world's most evil man. Yeah. But he's actually he's like, no, he's really cool. Like, okay, that's fine. Like, and they fix his house and everything for him.
Oh my
but
God.
Not good enough with Jimmy.
Not good enough.
Now in the championship final, they obviously goals down and they walk into the change room. And this is the point where Jimmy leads a revolt of they're not going back out until the club president treats his friend right. Which, like, what the fuck do you want? Give him, like, make him walk again. I don't really fucking... So he now gets the whole team to revolt that they're not going out. Jimmy is a dick.
Yeah, it sounds like
he's the worst fucking guy. He's just a fucking brat. Okay? Now, Mario van Peebles.
Yes.
Come to him. Mario van Peebles is a very well-respected actor and director, but I can't really say what he's ever done.
No, he's always just looked pretty.
Pretty, but listen, people love
He's been in some law series.
He was in LA Law. I don't know if that's the one. I know he was in LA Law. And
that's where I know him from.
Everyone loves him. In this, he plays a Jamaican. He's Jamaican with a very bad accent. And his skill is to just dance. He just dances with the soccer ball. Right?
What a waste of talent.
Doing a very bad Jamaican accent. It's like, I don't even know what the point of having him in there is. Even, it's just...
He should have been Jimmy.
It's just a I thought he was Jimmy. I thought, like, he should have been the main guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the only one with a vague name, even.
Not as a Jamaican.
Because we're not talking early 80s here. So this is 1987. Yeah. Some people knew who Mario van Peebles was.
What was he thinking?
And who's the dude who plays Jimmy? Nobody.
So, yeah, Mario van Peebles keeps coming in and out as this Jamaican. He's obviously the comedy.
Yeah.
You know, what do they call it? The comedy effect? The comedy. Anyway, whatever.
Whatever.
He's there for laughs. Haha, let's all laugh at the guy with the obviously fake dreadlocks wig. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
Anyway, so Jimmy, but Morph and Peebles won't listen to Jimmy. He's going out to play the game.
Okay.
Jimmy just gets everyone to like, no, we're not leaving until you help our friend out, of which he agrees, and then they all go out. It makes no sense.
Like, what more was he going to do?
Who knows? They never disclose it.
Right.
So Jimmy goes out. So now they play the second half. They're down, and obviously Jimmy leads the comeback. And with 3 seconds left on the clock,
Does a bicycle kick.
kick
they
to
win.
score the goal, Dori.
Got it.
And they win the game. Okay, and then there's like some very contrived scenes of them running around with the trophy, and it's all very, very bad.
Yeah.
It ends with Jimmy going back to Brazil,
Okay.
going up to Santos' house. Now, in between, the Santos has fallen in love with soccer again.
Ah.
He's been watching Jimmy's travails. He watched the game,
Yeah.
and like every time Jimmy does something, it cuts to Santos in his Brazilian house.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yes, saying something, and he knows, he foreshadows he's going to do the bicycle kick.
Yes.
And then Jimmy shows up, and then the theme song, a song specially written for this movie, plays. The lyrics go, all you need is one chance to play to prove what you know. But that chance has been taken away, and there's nothing to say. Every need in life must be supplied, but this burning heart can't be denied. Nothing can stand in the way, the ultimate goal. That is the movie Hotshot.
And it's one word, which is why I couldn't find it. I was looking for 2 words. It's one word, hot
Yeah,
shot.
so I just kept putting Hotshot Pelé movie because
Yeah.
it also kept bringing me hot shots.
Yeah,
like
it
just,
does keep bringing you hot shots.
It has got to be, in terms of obscure movies, despite the fact that it stars Pelé,
Yeah.
it is probably one of the most obscure movies I think
Well,
I've
I've
ever
never
covered
heard
on
of
the
it.
show. No,
I have zero inclination to watch it. But thank you for telling me about it.
I was scrolling through Plex, and I saw it, and I was like, I want to do the Cyborg Arm movie, but I've got to do.
I am going to find a Plex movie soon. Another one.
They've uploaded, there's a whole bunch of 80s movies on there.
Oh,
Sunday.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will endeavor.
Yeah, so I mean, Pelé then after that went on to sell Viagra, become the spokesperson for Pfizer for Viagra, MasterCard, and just put his name on everything. Pelé was not a man afraid to make money off the name Pelé.
Right.
So that is Hotshot.
Wow.
Very bad.
Yes.
It's probably the worst. No, I support Manchester United. It's the second worst soccer thing that I've seen this week. Dori, I'm going to play a bit of Spotify algorithm because obviously your 80s playlist can reveal the dominant trait everyone is envious of.
Oh.
Your obvious,
Really?
yes. So BuzzFeed tells me that BuzzFeed don't lie. I've got 10 songs, or you got to choose 10 songs,
Okay.
and it's going to generate the trait people are most envious of you. What do you? Okay, so we're going to go through the songs. 4 songs here.
Yeah. So I've got to choose the one I like most out of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Don't you forget about me. Purple Rain, Sweet Child of Mine, or I'm Coming Out by Diana Ross.
I'm going to go with Don't You Forget About Me.
Okay. Another one, Bites the Dust. Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash. Nasty by Janet Jackson, or We Are the World. Not that
I'm
one.
going to go with another one, Bites the Dust.
I did this previous to try guess you, and so far I've got all your picks.
Okay.
Don't Stop Believing, Hit Me With Your Best Shot, Like a Prayer, or What's Love Got to Do with It?
Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
Every Breath You Take, I Want to Dance with Somebody, One by Metallica, and Wake Me Up Before You Go.
Hilarious.
Next. Beat It by Michael Jackson, Hello by Lionel Richie, Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield, and We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel.
Rick Springfield.
Halfway there. Africa, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, With or Without You, Living on a Prayer.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Down Under by Men at Work, Love is a Battlefield, Call Me by Blondie, or Betty Davis Eyes.
Oh, jeez.
It's a lot there.
Okay, that's really, for me, it's between Love is a Battlefield and Call Me. Because I love them both a lot. Oh, I'm going to go with Call Me.
Call Me by Blondie. Man Eater, Eye of the Tiger, White Wedding, or Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac.
I'm going to have to go with White Wedding.
We Got the Beat by the Go-Go's, Let's Hear It for the Boy, Hungry Like the Wolf, Don't Dream It's Over.
That's so mean. That's so tough.
I know. The Crowded House one is tugging at your heartstrings.
It is, but I'm going to go with Denise.
And then finally, In the Air Tonight, She Works Hard for the Money, The Power of Love, and Fast Car by Tracy Chapman.
In the Air Tonight.
Right. So now your personality that people are most envious of you, what do you think it could be? Listen, could really be anything. So there's no
I mean,
guess
it's
here.
a BuzzFeed quiz. It's not going to be accurate. Apologies to BuzzFeed. But
out of everything, your most dominant trait is your creativity. You see the world in a way unlike anyone else, which makes you all the more unique and different. You have more creativity in a single finger than most do in the whole body. Mainly because you like Crowded House.
I didn't choose the Crowded House.
Choose them. Oh, BuzzFeed quiz.
Yeah.
They really do
What are the
pad
other
out the show.
options, though?
Did
you do the quiz?
I did do it. I got intelligence.
Oh.
Which is,
yeah.
I think I pretty much chose the same songs as you. Like, fuck knows what this is all about. Oh, that all is up to something. So, Dori, just before we go, silent discos. You know what they're about. I found a silent disco in, they're advertising a silent disco in Bristol in the 80s. An 80s silent disco.
An 80s silent, okay.
An 80s silent disco in Bristol. And, say, come along, going to be playing Queen, Prince, listen to your own music.
Yeah.
You can choose your own. It'll be at the Bristol Cathedral.
What is the point of choosing your own? Because then you might as well just stay home.
Stay at home with your headphones.
Yeah.
Because you don't talk to anybody. You just all stand. Listen, a silent disco is an awkward thing.
It's very weird.
It's at the cathedral, which will be lit up like you've never seen it before. The best DJs playing power pop, stadium rock, and 80s classics. You can select between the different music genres. So I suppose that's different channels.
Okay.
Play different things. It's a strictly over 18s event. You get a merch package, VIPs, but attendees are urged to not wear their high heels to the event.
Okay. Why?
They claim it may cause, if you're wearing high heels, they won't let you in. Because it may cause damage to the cathedral flooring.
Oh.
I think it's just going to cause damage to people dancing.
I mean, people danced in heels in the 80s.
Yes,
people dance in heels now.
Yes, but Dori, the people who danced in heels in the 80s are probably in their 50s and 60s now.
Correct.
I think that's a way of them saving face and saving the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun week, Dori. Fun week. Penguin Rabbit Holes Explored. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye.
Bye.